Well, it's been a while since I've done one of these update videos, so I figured I'd give one a shot. So, things have kind of slowed down with the whole uploading and stuff because, truthfully, we haven't been out for a ride since the May 24th long weekend. Actually, that's kind of half true. I have been out for a few rides in this area, but realistically, there's nowhere left to ride here, so I didn't take the GoPro. I went exploring and I found a couple little spots, but they're not really worth it anymore. So that kind of sucks. So this thing has been pretty much sitting in the shop for weeks on end because I can't really justify traveling 4 hours every single weekend to ride this thing the way it was meant to be ridden. Like in the very last video. Finally got it in some water, finally got it in some mud. This was nice being an added peace of mind. So I wasn't afraid to give a few different spots a try. And I finally found some skeg, and that didn't go as planned. So I need more experience doing that. So hopefully later on, sometime this year, I'll actually head out east where there's more of that, and we'll see how that goes. Also, an update on this, I've got 600 kilometers on it now, and it's almost at the 6-month period. So some people have been asking me if I've had any real issues with this machine, and for the amount that I've got to ride it, and given it only has like 600 kilometers on it, everything's worked the way it was supposed to. I did do my break-in fluids and everything way early. I did that at about 200k, and I haven't had any problems with it since. Actually, one thing that is a little bit finicky is the 4x4 switch. Sometimes when you flip it forward to go into Visco lock, either it takes a long time or it won't actually engage, and I've had to hold the button all the way forward to lock the diff just to put it into four-wheel drive without it locking the diff. So that might be something to get them to look at before the 6-month warranty's gone. I did get the extended warranty, however, from what I hear, it's not really worth the paper it's written on, unless you have a reputable dealer that will honor it. I know some people have had issues with these machines blowing a hole in the transmission. I know the 1000s had an issue where it strips out a gear inside of it, and Can-Am tried to argue that the only way that's possible is if you try to shift gears while moving. Some people have gotten lucky and their dealers have warranted that anyways, but those are just some things to look out for. I haven't experienced any of that, and I hope I don't experience any of that. But other than the 4x4 switch being kind of finicky, the thing's been a good machine. And I know I said I was going to do some stuff to it, but something kind of came out of nowhere, as it usually does, especially when it comes to the Canadian government. And let's just say I'm not a fan of who's in charge right now, and they've done something really, really stupid that affects another one of my hobbies. So I've kind of had to spend my money somewhere else instead of on this thing for now. If you know, you know. So the things that I did have planned for this, they've kind of been put on pause. Although I'm thinking a tune is going to happen fairly soon, and I am going to have to do a few things to it over the winter to get it ready for next year, because next year there's something big I'm going to try to do, and it's going to require a different set of tires. It's going to require some added equipment on the machine, and we're going to see how that goes. I'm not going to give it away. That can be in an update for next year. Yeah, as far as it goes to for Outlander modifications, it will probably be a tune and might change up the exhaust, because for that specific event the exhaust cannot be louder than, I think it's 92 or 93 decibels. So we'll have to do some exhaust testing and stuff like that. Right. Plans. So obviously I didn't make it to Trike Fest. I've missed out on a few other events too. This whole thing with the price of diesel and gasoline being over $2 a liter here in Canada. For some of you that don't really know the metric system, diesel at one time was actually $2.30 a liter, and if you kind of convert that to gallons, 3 liters per gallon, they were basically California prices where it was like almost $7 a gallon, or like $6.50, something like that. Either way, you shouldn't be paying that much for fuel. We didn't get out riding Canada Day weekend because everybody kind of split up and did their own thing. Silver Lake Sand Dunes, it's still a possibility, but if it's me, well, if that happens, it's probably going to be me solo, because things are still a mess at the border. Not so bad if you're trying to get into America. They really don't care, but if you're trying to get back to Canada, well, the idiot in power has done some things that don't make any sense still, and he hasn't removed them yet, so it's kind of hit or miss depending on what kind of border agent you're going to get. That's all I'm going to say on that. And then I did say I wanted to go to Hatfield McCoy, but unfortunately things with work and things in the world are still a raging dumpster fire. So that's not likely to happen either. And if it does happen, it's going to be late in the fall. But I'm going to say 80% chance that's not going to happen this year. So that kind of blows, but it is what it is. Maybe if things are lucky, I might be able to get down to Busco Beach in the wintertime. But other than that, that kind of covers like what's going on and what happened to a whole bunch of things. And I don't know if I'm going to make it out to Ottawa or not. The May 2-4 trip did go very well despite the few breakdowns that we had, and all the machines did great. So you don't need something like this to tackle what we did. My brother definitely got a workout on the Big Red, but it worked pretty good. It took some getting used to for me, because what was easy for them wasn't necessarily easy for me. I keep forgetting I have a lot more ground clearance on this thing than the old machines. There's some other things to discuss as well. So I got some news, some possible exciting news. It depends on what kind of content you guys really want to see, but recently I got asked a question when it came to engine stuff with the 200 three-wheelers, and I do know quite a bit about it, but when it really gets into the bulk of breaking down the engines and stuff, and when it comes to valve lash and guides and blah 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 blah, all the technical stuff, That's where Brian comes in, because he does most of the maintenance and he's the one that tinkers around with that stuff, because he's actually a mechanic by trade. So that's his thing. So he answered a question that I had in the comment section, and he came to me with this idea where now that he had to create an account in a YouTube, we're actually thinking about starting a second channel. So basically, Octane Adventures will be the channel I will be taking care of, and that's basically going to cover the riding and everything else, kind of the action, the adventure part of it. Brian wants to start a secondary channel, and this channel will basically focus on stuff in the garage. So your maintenance, your extensive teardowns and rebuilds, because when we did the 200 engine teardown, I had to leave for certain things, and he really didn't know how to use the cameras and stuff, so the rebuild did not get filmed. So we're going to invest in a few more cameras and basically get him on board with that. I'll still handle the editing and stuff, but we're looking to basically start a garage channel as well. So that's part of things to come as far as content goes. That kind of stuff will be on his channel. My channel will basically focus on riding and everything else. I do a lot of different things, like you guys have seen in the channel, or maybe you haven't seen, but I've done things with jet skis. We are looking to do snowmobile stuff this winter, so we've actually got an old, Citation that we're going to be fixing up, because a bunch of the bogey wheels are seized up and it needs a new track and a bunch of other shit. So there will be snowmobile content this fall. So, and then yes, I've done stuff with jet skis. Haven't really done stuff with trucks because, well, those tend to be more expensive when you break them, and I think it was just at the beginning of this year, the racetracks and stuff started to open back up again, so we were allowed to do that. But I've had a bunch of vehicles in the past, and now I'm down to a single vehicle, so I'm trying not to break this truck, so I'm not doing anything stupid with it. My channel was to be like all-encompassing, but one of the things, well, actually there's two things that I'd really like to bring to the channel, but that might be a different project in its own.